We want to start with this today. The long nightmare is over for people who live in Chester County, Pennsylvania. State police announced just a few hours ago they captured the fugitive who's been on the run for 2 full weeks. Escaped murderer Danelo Cavalcante was surrounded by dozens of law enforcement officials. This was around 8 o'clock this morning. He escaped prison, as you know, 14 days ago. There have been multiple sightings in the days that followed. Police say at one point he stole a vehicle and a rifle. But after 2 long weeks, those involved in this manhunt say they're relieved that he's now finally in custody.
Tactical teams converged on the area where the heat source was. They were able to move in very quietly. They had the element of surprise. Cavalcante did not realize he was surrounded until that had occurred.
For more, let's bring in Pat Milton on the left of your screen. She's a senior producer for the CBS News investigative unit, and Eric Miller on the right, a former FBI supervisory special agent. This is a major case that has gripped people in this region of the country and really the whole country for 2 weeks now. Let's unpack how we got here. Pat, take us inside just the final hours of the manhunt. We heard there a reference to a heat source. So what led to this final capture of Cavalcante?
Yes, Errol, it was very dramatic indeed, and we've been following this for 14 days. A DEA aircraft went overhead and found a heat source, a heat signature. And what caused that aircraft to go up is that a burglar alarm at a residence within the perimeter of where the law enforcement were searching went off around midnight. 1 o'clock, the aircraft was up in the air, identified a heat signature, meaning that there was a person, an animal that was in the area. So they immediately descended on the area, many law enforcement in camouflage. And what happened is a thunderstorm came into the area, lightning, forcing the aircraft to go down. But the law enforcement surrounded where the heat source had generated. Before, they had found deer and bear in the area, so they weren't sure, but they did surround him. It was an element, as you say, of surprise. At daybreak, around shortly before 8 a.m., he was either sleeping or laying on the ground with his rifle. He noticed that law enforcement was around him and started to crawl out of the area. And the police gave the command for their dog to chase, grab, and hold, which is what they do. And the dog was able to grab him by the scalp and held him for law enforcement to come. There were no shots fired, no injuries, and he was taken into custody.
And so, Eric, on one hand, you'll have all of law enforcement celebrating, right, the peaceful capture of this convicted murderer after 2 full weeks. But on the other hand, it has been 2 full weeks. You had residents in the area, some of them suggesting they're going to take matters into their own hands if this man isn't captured. Just from your point of view, evaluate the overall law enforcement response that we've all witnessed.
Well, Errol, it was a multi-organizational agency project, and they did a fantastic job, really, given the terrain, given the size of the search area, obviously utilizing all the tools in their toolbox, from canine units to aerial units to obviously officers and agents on the ground. So that takes an enormous amount of coordination. They stand up a command post. That's the facilitate the communication, and then from there, the intelligence and the tips come in, and then those are then put back out to the officers and agents on the ground. So all in all, it was obviously a peaceful ending to a very well orchestrated search.
Considering it has been 2 weeks, though, how surprised are you that this convicted murderer, who was reported to have a weapon, was taken into custody with, I understand, without a shot being fired, without a fatality?
Well, obviously, it was very, it was a great ending.
And does that surprise you, I wonder?
Yeah, and a little bit. One aspect, though, that we don't know is whether he actually had ammunition for that rifle. he had a propensity to violence. So I'm a little surprised that he didn't use it. But the fact that they were able to sneak up on him and actually surprise him, the element of surprise may have played a factor as well.
Yeah, Pat mentioned that. That also jumped out to me. Pat, considering he escaped from a facility exactly or in a similar fashion to how someone else escaped from that same prison apparently just weeks ago, right? This bizarre crab walk up a wall and pushing himself through barbed wire. Where do we go from here? Does he go back to the same facility? Or would he have additional protection? Or not protection,
Yeah,
but,
very good question,
manpower
because
around him?
I know your question is really what I'm sure the community who've been terrified over the last 2 weeks are asking. No, he will be going to a state prison, which will be more secure. He was taken into custody, and immediately they cut off his clothes. They wanted to identify that it was actually him. He had an identifiable tattoo on his back, a very large tattoo. They also wanted to search to see whether he had any other weapons on him or a knife. And also, what law enforcement have told us is that sometimes, they hide on their body a key or something that will get them out of the handcuffs again. But the law enforcement, they were not taking any chances. They cut off all his clothes. They took him for processing, where he will be again fingerprinted and processed. I don't know if he's going to have additional charges against him, which the district attorney will have to determine. It'll be up to him whether he wants to speak to law enforcement. I'm sure they're very eager to ask him, "How did you do this? Did we ever come close to you?" But that's up to him. I'm sure he'll have an attorney, even a court-appointed attorney. So it's up to him whether he wants to speak or not. We know that he was evading capture because of the very heavy brush. Law enforcement had to hack their way through the brush. He was following creeks and following in utility lines because it was easier to walk along those lines. And they caught him, and as Eric said, they caught him by surprise, and that was the major factor here.
Yeah, massive sigh of relief there in Pennsylvania. Eric Miller, Pat Milton, my thanks to you both.